Welcome to Hot Flash Chronicles, where midlife is messy, menopause is madness, and we're sweating through it together.
We're Angie and Shelly, two caffeine-fueled, slightly inappropriate grandmas who say what everyone's thinking.
So grab a drink, crank up the AC, and let's dive in.
Shelly!
Angie!
I am so excited that we are here to do another episode of Hot Flash Chronicles podcast.
Me too.
So today, what are we going to talk about, Shel?
We are going to talk about women and all the different roles we have in life, which are a lot.
There are a lot. We wear all the hats, and each one of those hats comes with different responsibilities. So we just decided on this topic about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And we started just, here's how we know that it's a good topic, is if one of us suggests it, and then the other one immediately falls into anecdotes and like, oh yeah, because we're aunts and we're sisters and we're nieces and we're daughters and we're mothers and we're grandmas.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, there's something here because we both wanted to start rolling into our life experiences.
Exactly. So I think a few, probably decades ago, we started hearing a lot of things about women who could have it all. Like they could have a career, they could be married and have kids and multitask all this stuff and run a house. And you were really revered and admired if you could manage to juggle all these different things and do well at all of it.
Right.
And I think that that's a lot of pressure.
It is.
You know, because it's like all of those things are actually a pretty big responsibility if you just take each piece of that.
Right. And you had mentioned before we started, men have these same kind of roles, like their fathers and brothers and sons and all of these things. But I think that often our roles are so different from one another, whereas I think that men's tend to be a little more similar skill sets.
Yes.
And I'm not trying to generalize, but I do think that we have things that are a little bit broader on the spectrum of things that we, fall into those roles.
I agree. I think maybe there's a little more, like, let's say a woman who's having a career and also being a mom, like you could have a career where you're a corporate person or something like that, or maybe you work in a mill, or maybe you do some kind of physical labor, which would be a lot different than momming. Those are way different. Whereas depending on how involved the father is in the home, it could be that maybe his role at work isn't really that much different than what his role at home is. I know when I've worked throughout, I've had a career my whole life. The whole time I've been momming and raising a family, I was a working mom. And I know that with the people that I was partnered with, I still was a lot of times I was actually the main breadwinner, but I still was also the main housekeeper.
Right.
For some reason.
And not necessarily housekeeper like cleaning, but the one making sure that everybody made it to soccer practice and the meals were planned and the groceries were
and
bought,
I paid the bills.
Right. And like, somebody has a dentist appointment.
Yeah.
You're kind of the command center of a home.
Yeah.
As a woman.
And not that they didn't help. They did, but they definitely were not in charge of that stuff you just, talked
right.
about.
And not at all to diminish men's roles or typecast them into a certain, this is how guys are. We're not trying to generalize, but we have personal experience in the female roles. So that's why we feel like we're qualified to speak on it.
Yeah, I'm sure if we had men, come in and talk, they might have a different viewpoint.
Sure, and I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, and not that just happened to be the role that I had in my relationships. I'm not saying by any means that that's everybody's, the way the division of duties and responsibilities are made. A lot of times I think I did it just because it needed to get done.
Right.
And it needed to be done timely. And sometimes for whatever reason, they weren't able to. So that is part of the whole thing, though, is look at the amount of time you have to take to multitask and to put on these different hats.
Right, for sure. And so if we dig into some of these roles, like I am a very different person as a grandmother than I am as a daughter or a sister. Like they're getting different, not different versions of me, but different skill sets, I would say. So I know as a daughter, I tend to seek wisdom. Whereas if I have my Oma hat on, which is what my grandkids call me, I'm the one providing wisdom.
Right.
So it's interesting because you can go from like, I'm driving the car to I'm a passenger real quick. And we change those hats rapidly.
I think so too. And I also think the role of grandma is way different even than the role of mom.
Oh, totally.
Of mother. And
totally.
And I think that's why so many people are so excited when they get to do the grandma stuff.
Right.
It's just a different, it's all of the fun stuff without too much of the, you still have a responsibility and all that, but it is no way, shape, or form the demanding and responsibility filled role that you are as a mother.
Right. I don't like it when people say, oh, grandma's, it's the best because you can just give them back when they cry or if they have a poopy diaper. I don't mind, the poopy diapers or the tantrums or all of that. Like that doesn't bother me. But like my thing is, I am not currently in this moment having to make sure that somebody is fed and clothed and gets to bed on time. And, I'm not having to keep that tally list right now on any humans aside from myself.
Yeah.
But when you have little kids, you're like, if you just want to go to dinner, you have to either figure out what restaurants the kids will eat at, or you have to get a sitter, or there's just a lot more logistics.
A lot more work. Yeah. There's a lot more preparation that goes into it.
So we're not like currently responsible for our 8 grandkids combined, how they're, are they being cared for right now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
which is a lot different. And I think that's why it's perceived as more fun. Now, I did daycare for my first granddaughter.
You were the daycare.
Yeah, I was a daycare. So I had her 2 days a week and her other grandma had her 1 day a week. So it was a little bit different because there was a responsibility in that, because when she came over, it was for 9 to 10 hours a day. She was an infant. So there was still a lot of momming kinds of feelings about that when it's that long of stretches.
Right.
But I was very happy to do that role. And it helped my daughter's family a lot. And I wanted to be there and do that. And it made a very, very tight bond with my granddaughter, which is still there because we had that time together when she was so tiny.
I love that. And I know you did. And you used to do the posts that were like written from her to Grand Minion. And they were like some of the best stuff you'll ever read. But yeah, I get that. While you're watching them, you're responsible for their well-being and all of that, making sure they're fed and safe and all that. And I love watching the kids. But one of the things that is different than parenting as well is I always try to lean into, well, how would their parents treat this scenario?
Yeah.
Like if my son was sitting here and his son did this, how would he handle it? Not how do I think I should handle it?
Yeah.
I will defer to how my children would parent. And that can be tricky.
It can be. And my daughter has, she definitely has requests, things that she wants followed. And I really do try to respect that because even though I'm the grandma and I'm her mom, it's like this is like my daughter is more about routines and keeping things going because that's how their household runs. And you don't want to disrupt, someone else's, flow. So I'm very respectful of that. Those are decisions that the parents should be making.
Right.
And I try to respect those. I just think that's the right thing to do. And she does things differently, but I think she's a wonderful mother and I respect all of her choices. So I don't have any problem following that.
Totally. And then that kind of leans into also being like an aunt. Are you an aunt at all? How many nieces and nephews?
I have 2 nieces and 1 nephew. Those are my brother's kids. And they are all adults now. And I spent a lot more time with them when they were younger. But I still see them a few times a year. And being an aunt was even, it's on the same level of fun as grandma with maybe even less responsibility. and it's just, you get to have fun.
Right.
And they're lovely, nice. I'm so lucky. Like everybody in our family, all my nieces, nephews, my grandkids, they're all really sweet, nice, fun people. So
yeah, we had a saying in my mom's side of the family growing up that was answer for loving. And I remember being a little kid, and my cousin Ted, who you sing in a quartet with, used to always climb onto my mom's lap and say, answer for loving. And I remember thinking as a child, does that mean they're meant to be loved, or answer built for loving other people? And I remember asking him, and I have no idea how old we were, but he said, it's both. That's the cool thing about it. And I love the role of being an aunt. So I have 3 nieces and a nephew. And I realized that when Jeff and I got married, his brother's kids, their mom is an only child. And Matt's only only sibling is my husband. So I realized when we got engaged, I am the only aunt that these 2 girls are ever going to have. I'm the only one. So them growing up, like, I am the only one they get.
Yeah.
And I sat them down. I was like, man, I take this job seriously. Like, I want to be the cool aunt. I want to be the fun aunt. I want to be the, the weird aunt, like whatever. But they, I think, loved that I take it so seriously, because they've said, Auntie Angie, we love that we can be wild with you.
Yeah.
And now they're teenagers, and it's fun to watch them grow into younger adults. Whereas my sister's kids, they have a bunch of aunts and uncles, because his family's
got more
kids. So.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking, Lena and Ellison, I was the only aunt they were ever going to get, so I better do a good job.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And
I think I'm a pretty fun aunt.
I relish all of the differences between all these roles. It really does let you, like you use the word skill set, it lets you emphasize different parts of your personality, different strengths, things that you can introduce these people to, things that, you love to do. And maybe it's just not, like, I think as a mom, there's more parameters. Like, there's more things you have to work within, because you're setting this example and you're setting schedules and you're doing that. Whereas with aunts, it's a little more free form.
Right. You can have like a fun sleepover, or
girls and boys night out, or whatever. You can,
I love my
play a
nieces
little
and
more.
nephew. Like,
it's
and they're all so different, which is so cool. And then there's like being a sister.
Yeah.
Which I know that you're a sister as well.
Yeah, I'm a sister, and I have a brother who's younger than me, and I have a sister who's older than me. My sister is developmentally disabled. So probably at about age 7 or 8, I kind of became the older sister, even though I was 2 years younger than her.
Was she born?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I've met her a few times. And she's fun.
She's a hoot.
Yeah, she's a hoot for sure.
So she's kind of frozen at this age where I'd say she's about, maybe 10 or 11 years old, like a preteen, kind of, in that she still likes like boy bands and things like that.
Right.
But so that's kind of forever frozen in time. Like, I have a little sister who is that age, is what it feels like, which can be a little annoying sometimes. And then my brother is 7 years younger, and he's great. We get along good.
So you were the middle child?
I was the middle child.
Interesting.
Yeah, but really,
I guess I had never really thought about what the birth order was.
Yeah.
You don't strike me as middle child energy.
Well, I'm not. That's the thing, is I was a middle child, but it switched.
But maybe because of Shannon.
And the birth order thing, I was the first one to like get my driver's license. I was the first one to do a lot of things. So there's, even in those birthright books, they actually give the scenario where maybe the oldest child is developmentally delayed and the middle child does a flip, and it does have a big impact on your personality. So I'm more of the oldest child, and I have a lot of those traits. But an older sister, a younger sister, being a sister, I think some people really love their siblings and get along amazingly well with them. And then some people don't. Like, there's a lot of strife and tension, and sometimes they don't have good relationships. So I think the sister role can be kind of tenuous, as can the daughter role, depending on what your relationship is with your parents. So you think about all these as, these are loving family relationships. Well, sometimes there's tension in them. They're not always rosy.
Oh, totally.
So,
Totally. And my sister and I have always been really close. And they just moved to Texas like a year and a half ago. And I've struggled with that because we've always just been like attached at the hip. And it's been hard for me having her live far away. And she's had some medical stuff.
yeah,
But she's going to be here on Saturday.
oh,
She'll be here for a week. So I'm excited to get to see her
that'll be fun.
and the kids.
Yeah.
So it'll be
Yeah,
fun.
you'll get some one-on-one time. Yeah. And I think like these are like your family roles and responsibilities, which there's kind of, I think for a lot of people, there's a lot of love and a lot of warmth and a lot of that kind of ooey gooey, lovely feeling in those roles. Whereas when you switch over into roles that are more of a romantic in nature, I guess, like being a girlfriend or being a wife or a partner, very different kinds of responsibilities and different kinds of emotional investment, I think, in those.
Right. And, you know, it's a spider web of how many different, because I was just thinking I'm also a stepmom, which is a totally different role because, you know, my daughters have a mom, you know, I'm their stepmom, but I don't consider them any less of my children. But I don't have like the same kind of say in how things go because I'm like a secondary.
Yeah, you're not
a main. You're more so if there's like a big decision, they're adults now, but like when they were teenagers and stuff, it was like I wasn't the one that would be like, "Here's how this is going to go," because I had to defer, which is fine, but it's different to where that step parent had to.
Sure,
for sure.
I haven't been. I mean, I was a step parent, but my husband at that time, he didn't have really a relationship. He didn't really see his daughter, so I didn't really have to actively do that. But I think it would be a challenge.
Right.
You know, and
it is because you don't want to overstep and you definitely don't want to talk about the other parent. Like I'm really, really careful. And anytime, like if the girls have been or are upset with their mom, I'm real careful to say, well, you know, I've never really met her, so I don't have anything to go on except for what you're saying, but it sounds like you're really hurt.
Yeah.
You know, instead of saying
it's difficult.
you know, like you don't want to ever fuel that because then as soon as they flip back to being okay, now it's, oh, Angie said da da da. So I'm really careful not to ever say anything against their mom. Yeah,
I had a stepmother situation when my ex-husband remarried and my son Ethan got a stepmom. And it was a very challenging time and very challenging relationship because she didn't respect those boundaries and she would overstep. And like she got tired of hearing my son get really excited about Christmas and really excited about Santa Claus because he was 8 years old. And so she told him there was no Santa. She didn't talk to me or my husband. And it almost caused like World War III. I was so mad.
Pissed.
Oh, it's just like not appropriate. You know, like you've got to know what your role is and be respectful because that just did not work for me. And it caused a lot of, you know, you're co-parenting when you're in a relationship where you're the step parents.
You know, what's interesting is my ex-husband, he had a son and I raised him helped raise him from, I think he was 18 months old when Mike and I met. And then, so I was there in his formative years.
Yeah.
And his mom and I got on like a house on fire.
Yeah.
We were so cool with each other. She was a very strong personality, very capable, very type A. And she appreciated that I kind of submitted to that. Like, hey, you're the mom.
Yeah.
And David called her mama. And then as he was learning to talk, she asked him what he wanted to call me. So I was mom and she was mama. And she was fine with that. And I was like, totally okay. Like whatever you want. And then there was a thing he had in first grade where they had made a sign in school that was like a pre-made sign that said world's best mom. And he brought it home to Samantha and she was like, oh, this is so cool. And he goes, oh, but it's for mom because it says mom. So this poor woman has to drive over to me and present to the stepmom the world's best mom sign, which I still have. And I was like, oh my God, Sam. And she was like, no, it's totally fine. Like, it's like, I love that you're this involved. I love that he loves you. I love that he feels safe with you. Like,
Yeah.
if I could pick a second mother figure, you would be it. So
Yeah.
I'm totally okay. I was like, wow, what a big gesture that was, to not be like, what do you mean she's the world's best mom? Well,
Yeah.
because it said mom.
Yeah. And that's what he called you.
Yeah.
So that totally makes sense. But that's, this is the thing about women in these different roles, is that's a really good example.
Yeah.
Like when you have to co-parent with another woman, like in this exact scenario, where you're going to have a stepmom involved and one of you's the mom, one of you's the stepmom. Women have the ability to adjust and to make things work.
Yeah.
And I think we do that in a lot of aspects of our life. And that's like, these are kind of nurturing roles, the family roles, the aunt, the mom, the sister, the stepmom, the daughter. Those are all familial, relationships. They're the nurturing, loving ones. And then you have this other category, which is romantic partnerships or love relationship ones. And then you also have all of the ways that if you have a career and then you're a coworker and you have a whole nother set of, you might be a manager or a regular worker. So women really are, in the modern world, we really are doing lots of different kinds of roles, and it's exhausting.
And do you know what I was just thinking is, if you're non-binary, that would be interesting because it would take on different versions of the roles. So that might be something that would be a whole another board game to figure out, like, how does this work? And that's a different layer, just because I photographed somebody yesterday that was non-binary, and it was like, that's an interesting, like, layer to it that I hadn't really considered. And we were talking yesterday, and they were saying how these things are different and da-da-da. But it was, I just thought of that as we were talking, like,
yeah. How does that play in? Well, it's complicated. It's it's complicated when it's, when exactly everything traditional. So imagine adding that other layer. And can we all do this? Can we all multitask? Well, we do.
Sure.
We do. But I think the thing that sometimes we don't do is give ourselves a lot of grace.
Right.
And give ourselves the amount of self-care we probably need, because it's a lot of energy. There's a lot of thinking process that goes on. There's a lot of figuring out how to make all these things connect. How do you be there for all of these people? We live in a fast-paced world.
Totally.
And there's lots of people to connect.
And this is a good transition to lead into the last episode we dropped was on girls' trips and girls' nights. This, I think, is why we need those.
Yes, it's this part.
Yeah, it's like, I just need to put on a hat of not having to be responsible for anybody right now. So you should go back and listen to the episode right before this.
Yeah, because I think that is like a major part of, if you're going to do it all and have it all, it's a lot of self-care and maintenance you have to do to keep yourself from crashing and burning.
Totally.
And we don't do enough of that.
In
In this world. We
need to recharge. It's like putting your phone on a charger. Like, we have to be recharged, and sleep isn't enough.
No.
Sleep isn't, sleep is what, like, physiologically gets you recharged, but that won't necessarily solve all the mental bullshit that's happening in your head.
With all the,
to unstrain all of the
anxiety
angles.
and all the mental health things that so many people have in this world. And I think our society and just the fast pace of our world creates a certain amount of anxiety for
100%.
everybody. So I think we're all under a little bit of that anxiety bubble. But it is like, what I find as I've gotten older and going through menopause and doing all this is, my exhaustion is mental exhaustion. It's not, and that does make me feel physically tired.
Yeah, I can't connect dots or remember words. It's like, all of a sudden, it's like I'm just blinking. Like, the fuck was I doing? And
what was I saying?
Talking.
What? Yeah, it's real. It is. The struggle is real, and it's like I feel that I get that kind of tiredness and that feeling of exhaustion, and I realize it's just mental stuff. Like when I try to lay down and go to sleep, my brain won't shut off.
You're trying to solve all of the problems of the world.
Yeah.
While you're asleep, for sure.
Yeah. And it's like, and you wake up and you're just not refreshed. So I think that's another layer in trying to find these ways
Right.
to alleviate some of that stress and tension so you are refreshed and able to do all these things.
Agreed.
You know, it's like coffee can't fix everything. I want it to.
It does a real good job
It-
of trying.
It gets pretty damn close, that's for sure.
Well, Shelly, I feel like each one of these roles could have its own episode because
Oh yeah.
it's like a spider web of. I just realized every sentence I said was kicking another anthill of like, oh wait, but we got to talk about that. So
Yeah.
that just leads us to more episodes.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here going, which one of these roles is my favorite? You know, it's like
gosh.
it's hard to pick. There's so many of them that I really
They're all sacred in their own right.
They are. It's almost like each one of them is special for certain reasons. I don't know that I can pick one. Of course, I immediately go to mom and grandma. Those are the two that probably rise up to the top. But I've really loved being a sister, and I've really loved being an aunt, and
I love being a wife.
And I love being a wife, and I love, having those. So it's like, oh my gosh, it's hard to pick. I don't want.
Luckily, we don't.
Not gonna do it.
We don't have to.
No.
Oh gosh, what a fun episode. So, as we have been doing lately, we have been doing some shout outs to our TikTok subscribers before we do our rapid fire questions.
Mm-hmm.
So, Shelly, who are the subscribers that we had since
I have to
2
look.
days ago?
Let's look.
We had a couple more. We have 93 subscribers now, which is wild to me.
Oh my gosh. Okay. We have Sarah Marie Pruner and Bonfire. Those are on our Tiki-Talkies.
Yes. And then some just random shout outs to some people that are also subscribers because we're kind of randomizing it. We have Queen Jess.
Yes.
We have Anley Bailey. We have Cartoon Man.
We have
Shadow Bear. Kay's Boutique, who was our first subscriber.
Yeah.
And then
we have
Mama
Meg Jean, CIA. There's so many. I mean, we give some random ones.
We love every one of them.
They're all nice, wonderful, fun people. So
totally.
We want to shout you all out every time, but there's 93 of you now.
Which is awesome. How cool is that?
It's a good problem to have.
So are you ready for the rapid fire question?
Oh my God, yes. I think so. I am, yes. Okay.
Shelly.
Yes.
Favorite roasted vegetable?
Brussels sprouts.
Great answer. This is why we're besties.
Yeah, with olive oil and a little sea salt. And
friend me with good time, girlfriend.
Dang, I know, right?
Sounds good.
A little bit of balsamic. Yeah, so good. But I like them really crispy.
Oh, yeah.
They got to be almost like burnt.
Yeah. Okay. What about you?
So what is your favorite summer fruit?
Oh man, cherries.
Yeah.
I love really good cherries. I love all fruit. I'm a fruit addict. I love fruit in probably an unhealthy way. Like I know
you had the pineapple overdose once, so
I was working with a personal trainer. She had me writing down everything I ate, and she goes, "We're going to come back to the fact that you're eating like 4 cups of pineapple every day. That's probably not good for canker sores and stuff, but I mean, it's better than cheeseburgers." So anyway,
good.
Okay. Question number 2. If you were going to, would you rather be a pilot or a train engineer?
Oh, wow.
Random, right? Sorry.
You know what?
I don't even want to tell you how my brain got there.
I'd rather do the train because I'm not a huge fan of flying, and it's just I know there's a lot of aerodynamics, and Phil has explained to me how planes work. But trains,
he had a chat with me about like how planes won't sink when they hit the water.
Yes.
Because I was like, what's the point of a flotation device? It's so heavy. It's just going to shoot to the bottom of the ocean. He goes, no. And he got into the... Yeah. So he can say that all he wants. I'm still going to go for the train. A train makes more sense to me. Fair.
And I like that you can see the countryside when you're on a train. So I'm good with that. Okay. So Angie, let's see. If you had a day at the beach.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you're like, I'm already.
Color me interested.
Would you rather be back on the shore sunbathing and hanging out, or would you rather be out on the ocean like in a boat?
Wait, is it Ocean Beach?
Yeah, it's an ocean beach.
Oh. Where?
Somewhere warm.
Okay, then on the beach.
Okay.
Now, if it was a lake, I'd rather be on a boat.
Okay.
but an ocean, not so much.
Yeah, it's more choppy.
Yeah, choppier.
All right.
Okay, guys, this was another episode of Hot Flash Chronicles. It means the world to us that you are choosing to listen to us. If you have a moment, we would love a like, a subscribe, a follow, a share, all of those things. But most importantly, if you have time for a 5-star review,
yes,
that helps bump us out to more people.
That's a good.
So thank you for spending your time with us, and we will see you back in a few days.
That's a wrap on this episode. If you laughed, related, or just need more, hit subscribe.
Check out the show notes to find us on socials and YouTube, and join our Patreon for exclusive extras.
And remember,
we're still hot, just in flashes.